Hi, in this video we're going to show you a free tool you could use to check file permissions in a certain directory and subfolders. Actually, you could use it on multiple folders if you like. So that way if you have a folder with a bunch of files and you're not sure if they're all using the same permissions, from their parent folders, or if they're inheriting permissions, or if that's been changed, you could use this tool to help you out. Alright, so it's called File Permissions Check, so it's by CJW Dev. So we've done some videos on their Active Directory tools a long time ago, and they work really well, and this is a pretty old program here too, but it seems to work just fine in Windows 11. Alright, so first we need to add a directory. So we're going to be working with this data directory on our E drive that has subfolders and files, and then other files within these folders, like so. Let's browse to that. And then when you go to Manage Directory, you could exclude subfolders that are so many levels below the root directory, and also exclude system directories and system files. And then you could export and import your settings and add or remove folders from here as well. All right, then we have the Actions tab. So you could use this to fix permissions for selected files. Then you could export to CSV or HTML if you want to report. Then you have a File button here that just takes you to Exit. All right, so let's click on Start and see what we have here. Okay, let's make this full screen. So here's our file list, our inherited permissions, created, modified, who the owner is. So if you do this, run it again, this will show you who owns the file. So if you're concerned that maybe somebody took ownership of a certain file, you can see that here and then change it if needed. All right, so here are the details. So these files here have different permissions than what the parent directory has, and then these files here do not inherit permissions. So let's say we go to File here. So this PDF folder here, this application, go to Properties, Security, Advanced. We disable inheritance on this file here. Let's run this again. So here's our application file that does not inherit permissions. And now let's go do another one here. Let's say this antivirus file here. Let's edit this. We'll add another user. Give her full control. All right, so that was the antivirus Word document there. So here's this, and now it shows that it has different permissions to the parent directory. All right, so let's say we want to fix one or more of these. We could check the box and either right-click on it and choose Fix Permissions, or go to the Action tab and click on Fix Permissions for selected files. So we'll do this to the antivirus one. Then you have two options here, set files to inherit permissions from parent, and then set files to inherit permissions from parent and remove any non-inherited permissions. So we'll just try this first one here, see what it does. All right, so that was the antivirus file there. So let's go back. All right, so we can see Cindy still has permissions there. So let's try it with the other one now. Okay, so it tells us what happened here. Now let's check it again. And now you can see she's gone. So depending on what you're trying to do, you'll have to choose the right option. And of course, you could run it again with a different option if it doesn't work. All right, so now let's try one that does not inherit permissions. Actually, we'll do the PDF one here that we're working with. All right, so let's check the box. And we'll just do the first option here to set files to inherit permissions from the parent. Okay. So if we go back here, go to Properties, Security. So now we can see inheritance is enabled because we have the Disable Inheritance button there active. And also you can see it's grayed out, showing us that it's inheriting permissions from the parent. All right, so you can see it's pretty easy to use once you kind of get it down what it's actually doing. And then, of course, you could take action on multiple files at once if you need to, and of course, scan multiple folders at once as well. So this may or may not come in handy depending on what you're trying to do here, but I could see how it could be useful if you just need to check the permissions on a folder and all of its files within it without having to do it manually. All right, so I'll put a link in the description where you can download File Permissions Check, and you can try it out for yourself. All right, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe.